Bing bong. Your call is important to us as we answered in the order it was received. Just kidding. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. It's me, Mike. How's it going? How you doing? Let's go. Let's just jump right back into it, and we're gonna play some of the main quest on our Rune Master that we're leveling. Here we go. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? Oh, I feel good. I feel very good. Oh, getting some hotfixes out the door. Lots of fun. Yeah, there's that fireball. Yeah. So yeah, how's Rune Master treating everybody? I feel like that's sort of the thing most people are playing right now, understandably, because it's awesome. Yeah, that big fireball gets me every time. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you with us. We stream for charity, and all of the stuff we do goes to charity, which is great. And our charity is right above my head. This is the one. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Please put at Last Epoch Game in the question so I see it, pops out at me. And what else do I usually say in these things? We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna hang out. I'll warn you right at the top, if you're here just for spoilers, I'm barren, I'm dry, no spoilers today. Unfortunately, I come bearing nothing except my charming personality. Well, you might be able to get something out of me if you talk nicely. Or trick me, either way. Has there been any thoughts to more Weaver's items? Absolutely, there'll be more Weaver's items. It's one of those things that it's one of those mechanics that we'll keep adding to slowly over time. There weren't any in the most recent patch, but that doesn't mean there won't be any more after. We were focusing on of the new item types, of the new items that came into the game. We were focusing really heavily on Rune Master specific uniques, and personal items and experimental items. So those were like the big item focuses for 9.2. So Weaver's not really in there, but yeah, it's something that we're gonna keep expanding on as we go. Master Sword 1291, loving this patch. Awesome, glad to hear it. That's fantastic. I'm also loving this patch. Ooh. Ooh, ow, my face! Not like this. Just watch The Matrix again. What a gut-wrenching scene. Alright, next question. Do you plan to keep Weaver's Will as such? I'm not satisfied with the result. Oh no. Most of the time... most of the time, but I have an idea to level an item by killing enemies. I like the idea. I think that's what it's trying to say. Item to killing enemies to level an item. Yeah, it's one of those things where we're trying to incorporate new ways of, you know, like leveling an item, or leveling an item, but like building your character gear and all that sort of stuff, and just having multiple avenues for that sort of thing. And I think it's really expected that most people won't use every single method of like item acquisition for gearing, and it'll be more of like maybe there's like 8 different ways to get items, and you pick 4 of them for your build. and some builds need some, and some builds need the other. And I think that's really good overall. But yeah, we will also be making more Weaver's Will items, and there might be little updates to them planned as well. You know, little changes, little things here and there that can make them more awesomer. That's right, more awesomer. I think it could be the sort of thing that I could see that being the sort of thing that comes up in a prophecy even. Where I mean, obviously you'll be able to buy them with stats you like from the bazaar. So like, why not have things in prophecies that can, like, I don't know, maybe let you force the next affix to be added to be something, or like a range of some things, or I don't know. We don't have any specific plans for it, but I can see there being more ways to interact with the system being added on as we go. That's what I'd really like to see personally. There's a cut on my leg and it's so itchy. Attack and cast speed, let's go! Brrr. Is he blowing the horn? Has there been any thoughts on more Weaver's Will items? Oh, lots of Weaver's Will item questions today. Yeah. Don't worry. The Weaver's Will system and items are not finished. Can I ask a technical question? You absolutely can ask a technical question. I make no promises of being able to answer it perfectly, and if I don't know the answer, I will, I'll either give you a partial answer, or I'll dodge the question, and I will make it clear that I am not answering because I don't know the answer. But I'll do my best, and there's certain categories that I'll be able to answer very competently for technical questions, and other categories I will have no knowledge about, sorry. I think if you ask me how animation timing is done for like locking out various portions of the body so that the animations can be combined together, I have no idea how that works. I've been playing Hydrahedron, love it. I need to increase duration as a craftable stat. Cool. Good evening, Mike. Good evening, Mr. Fiddle. Lovely to see you this evening. I didn't read the rest of the question, I should have. I just like the good evening. I guess this has been asked many times. No, that's fine. But I've returned to LE after a lengthy hiatus. Welcome back. And was wondering whether we will be required to start fresh character for Cycle 1. So if you want to participate in the ladder... So good at this, guys. So good. If you want to participate in the ladder, you will have to start a new character. But just in order to play the game and do the stuff, no, you do not have to make a new character for Cycle 1. At least that's the way it's planned right now. It's possible, so like we're not 100% set in stone on exactly the like what will and will not be included in as like exclusive content for the cycle. So right now I think we're looking at the first cycle just being everything for everyone. In future that may be slightly different. Oh, my nose. Oh, we've got some cats, and they're hitting me hard. All right, more questions. Oh, so many questions. I love it. Good job, everybody. Can you tell us if the Falcon from the Falconer class is a minion? Is there any other minions in this class? So I don't have a ton of details that I can share about exactly how the Falconer is going to work and anything like that. I can basically just tell you what's already been said. The Falcon will scale with minion stats. So in order to make if you want to focus on your Falcon as your primary damage source, you'll want to get increased minion damage for that. You won't need increased minion health as a stat as a Falconer. There might be ways that can be used to scale things with the Falconer, but just barring other unforeseen things, you won't really need it as a stat. So yes-ish, it's a minion-ish. Kinda, so to speak. If you were to ask me, do I think Falconer is a minion class? I'd say yes. I know people would disagree with me. So I know other people would very strongly agree with me, because we've had this debate internally a few times, if it counts the minion class or not. Generally, I think it does count. Prophecies. Have I missed a news post? Not really, probably. The prophecies were first mentioned as part of the alternative to... Oh my goodness. As part of the alternative to the Bazaar. So our item faction system is going to be coming with 1.0. I actually just saw a preview of the Circle of Fortune UI, and it looks really good. yeah, you can tell I had no hand in it whatsoever, because it looks really good. Yeah, there's 2 item factions, one of which gives you access to trade, one of which does not. And the one that does not gives you access to the Circle of Fortune, which the primary feature of that is you can buy prophecies with favor, which is if all this is brand new, you should go read the item factions blog post that came out shortly after 0.91 or shortly before 0.91. I can't remember. Maybe not. No, is it 0.90? I don't know. It was a weird time. Surprisingly long ago. It was like 8 months ago, 9 months ago, something like that. But there's not been any details on it. There's in that posting, there's 2 examples of potential prophecies and what they could be, and that's about it. Any aspirational bosses coming with 1.0 or things that make grind worth it? So endgame content in general is definitely missing a capstone boss to say here's Diablo, here's any pinnacle boss type thing. Here's the did you beat the game, and it's kind of gray what that is right now, and we really want to make sure that whatever the first version of that is, because there'll be lots of those things over the years, but whatever the first version of that is, we want it to be like a complete system and to feel special and to feel fun. So I'm not sure if that's actually going to make it into 1.0 or not, of an actual singular capstone pinnacle boss. There will be lots of changes to endgame coming. It just might not be that specific one change. Uh-oh, we're out of manas. Wow, that was just the perfect amount of damage to just finish the job. I'll take it. Now about that Forge Guard passage. Any signs of incoming love? I mean, yeah, everything's on the list. Everything's in the queue type thing. The primary focus for skills and passives for 1.0 will be still around Falconer and Warlock, which will have some bleed into the other masteries and base classes for those. So like Rogue, Blade Dancer, and Marksman, and Acolyte, Lich, and Necromancer will sort of have some incidental changes happening, but the primary focus will be on the 2 new masteries. That's not to say that all of the other ones will be untouched, but there won't be. I don't know if you remember, but we did a Druid overhaul 2 patches ago, 3 patches ago, something like that, and so it won't be that extensive. That was a pretty extensive overhaul. Oh, walking out of my AoE, come on. Smart. That's one thing I've always wanted to like set up in an AI is like have it be able to tell that it's standing in an AoE and just move a tiny bit, you know? Like have it be able to see the circles. Hello from Brazil. I got the game this week and it's been great experience. Congratulations, Zork. Thank you. That's awesome. Hey Mike, are you going to release any more content before official 1.0 release, or this is the last major update planned for now? This is the last major update planned pre 1.0. The next major patch will be 1.0. It'll be later this year. It'll be sometime in December. Hopefully that's obvious when we say this year and there's still a little time left in the year. Hi, oh, here's the question I expected to come up. That's fine. Hi, can you tell us if changes in Unity will affect Studio and the game? So any effect? Yes, there's definitely an effect. Like there's the most basic effect, which is just like that was a lot of stress for a couple days. It's not over yet. You know, so there's small effects like that happen. As far as effects that you'll actually see on a player-facing side, you should see literally nothing. there should be nothing that you can tell affected anything. You know, like there should, as far as the average player is concerned, it should be just like, okay, I guess nothing happened. Yeah. It's a there's a lot happening, and there's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of things that we don't understand yet. So the one thing that like, 'cause this is brought up several times in like our forums, Discord and all that sort of stuff, Reddit, basically everywhere that we have contact, we've seen this come up as a topic, and we're just trying not to be rash or hasty or do anything without all the information, basically. So there's time to see how this shakes out and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, there's no talk of like switching engines or something like that. Yeah. Right. Is it safe to assume more base item types for Weaver's Will? Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption. This guy's a little beefy. many movement skills. Yeah, I'm talking about having like things move out of AoEs, and then it's just like doing it to me. It does feel more like you're fighting a real person though when they actually use movement abilities frequently. I need some sort of culling on this build. Fireball's just big enough that it just hits. Alright. Ward decay threshold, nice. Ward gain proportion use, nice. Increase health, increase fire damage. Yeah, mana pots, I think, are stronger for us, really. Come to think of it. Let's cast this minion damage away. Lightning damage. That's nice. The experimental affix tiered up. Oh. I think mana pots are more important. The other stats are so much better than the new one, though. Yeah, let's go for it. See what happens. We're not really using them as mana pots. It's actually not bad. More questions! Can we expect ragdoll on enemy corpses for 1.0? Right now, they all assume the same position when they die. There's actually, it's actually split. So there are some enemies that ragdoll and some enemies that have specific death animations. And we'll probably keep it as a combination of the two, depending on which ones we feel work better for each enemy type. All right, what's in our Frostwall? We're not actually spec'd into Frostwall yet. I mean, that is nice. Yeah, we're gonna do these right out of the gate. Area and duration. Yeah, I just want area and duration. Just crank that. More Rune Master. This one, love it. Can't get enough of it. How big is it now? Yes, lovely. Alright, we're moving, and we're walking. Hey there, just gonna say one thing quick. The 3 fire rune fireball you guys made fried my brain in a good way. Using that in the most fun I've ever had in an RPG, won't lie. Hey man, as you can see, I am right there with you. We just get like a nice boom. It's a big boy. How will the ladder work? What will we be competing for? Well, the ladder is still the same as the ladder that's here. It's waves in the arena right now. We do plan to have more more types of things to compete on for the ladder. So right now it's just this one type of thing, but you'll see more categories eventually. We don't have specifics on what those categories are going to be yet, but there's definitely things that we want to like start adding to our voice acting. Talking over me, or me talking over the voice acting got me tongue-tied. There's more categories that we will add eventually. We don't have details on what those are going to be just yet. I love the Frostclaw like goes around this wall that they make, like so perfectly. It's great. Ascendants, give it up. Alright, more questions. Is it possible that a new melee class will arrive for the game? For example, a barbarian. Yes, it is entirely possible. I don't want to say specifically the barbarian's coming or anything like that. The only details on which classes are next are the Falconer and the Warlock. After that, we will be adding we don't have specifics on exactly what will be coming after that. Likely, it will be new mastery classes for existing base classes first. And once there's like a few of those in, we'll reevaluate and pick what we're gonna do. But I'd say there'll probably be a new mastery class up to 4 for most base classes before we add a new base class. But it really depends on like what's in the game, how the game's going, what feedback we're getting, all that sort of stuff. Like there's lots of factors that go into deciding which one's next. And we sort of have loose plans once you get past a certain point ahead. So we know what we like kind of want to do and rough plans, but we don't have specifics like guaranteed this is the next class and this is the one after that and this is the one after that yet. We sort of got like, here's the next few masteries, here's the next few base classes, and we'll decide which order we want to do them in as we go. But yes, some of those classes that we have roughed out, pre-planned roughed out, are melee classes. I don't think there's any class that's pure melee. Like every class has some way to do range stuff. Maybe that's the barbarian shtick. It has no range anything. I think that'd be weird though. I think I'd want to see like, if hypothetically we were going to do a barbarian class, I think I'd want to see like, I don't know, some sort of like big like ranged spear or something. I don't know. Yeah, like we could go into fire here, but I do like having that cold skill on the bar to be able to get that like cold fire rune if we need it. So I think we're gonna go this way, which needs more of these. Have a little haste. Boom!
What's left is locating the lance.
Locate that lance. There's there's a clip of it's a show called Taskmaster, and there's a clip I saw last night that I hadn't seen in a while that was funny, where James Acaster was trying to remember a famous Armstrong, and take the action of their first name, which was supposed to be Neil. And he was trying to figure out how to lance something, how to mime out Lance. I thought it was funny. Alright, will there be an option to autocast skills? We don't have any specific plans for that at the moment, apart from technically the one that's already in there for enchant weapon. But I know what a lot of people are looking for is basically an in-game way to do the numlock trick. We don't have anything like that planned at the moment. I don't know why that boss did not even look at me, but I am mad.
We have the lance. Would you, but why? I'll give you. Tell me more of this immortal emperor. We have the last. Would you? But why? Tell me more of this immortal emperor on our journey.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, a way to mimic the numlock stuff. Numlock trick. We don't have any plans to add that at the moment. Doesn't mean we won't ever add it, but right now it's not on the list. Alright, there are some gameplay differences, visual only, that I've noticed. There are some gameplay differences. Visual only that I've noticed. Has there been thoughts of unifying the look? Or is that just something that's not being thought of? I think this was in response to a specific question I was talking about, and I have no idea which one. Dracanoblade, please rephrase the question with context so I may answer it fully. I remember you talked about adding 3 more acts. Can you tell us what their theme? Desert, snow, maybe? No, I can't, because I don't know. The one, so like, pure speculation on my part, but hopefully should be obvious. There are no acts that take place fully in the ancient era, and it's just as much of a full era as these other 3 up here. Like, we're just like ignoring a quarter of our timeline at the moment, basically. There's little bits and pieces where you visit them. Where's the one over here yet? Is there a third one? I think it's just the 2 right now. Like, it doesn't even do the same stuff where, like, this zooms out and it's like, there's, like, the regions, the area, number of areas, and, like, it doesn't even bother with that because there's so little that's here. Why would we make an entire map era for just 3 zones? Is that 3 zones? 1, 2, 3? Anyways, like, we've got to come back here to some of this. There's sections of it that are, like, only exist, really. Like, there's just nothing here in the other eras, right? So there's sections of the game where, like, and you can pick lots of spots, but, like, yeah, I feel like some stuff has to happen in the ancient era at some point.
I know things are great. Of course, all that is. Yeah, if what, to be honest, I can't imagine it. But I will take your warnings to heart.
Oh, yeah, sure, why not? Let's go. Going down this path. All right. Tra la 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 la. Okay. Did the implementing Rune Master take a lot of new technology / under the hood changes? If it was difficult, would you say upcoming masteries will have about as much special stuff that has to be implemented just for them? There was some stuff that had to be created for Rune Master, yeah. Like, for example, this little icon that shows up here as like a permanent buff spot, like that style of thing didn't exist before. The Rune Bolt had a surprising amount of stuff that had to be made for it to make it work. That was painful. I don't think Ridiculification actually had to have new tech created for it. It was just like an absurd amount of work of just like stuff to make. The stuff above these things, these icons here, that took a little bit of work. Nothing like crazy though. I know animation's been like animation VFX for Falconer's been tough, but they're doing a great job on it, so it's not gonna look like it was tough at the end. But that's just because they're awesome. And but yeah, I think if you're trying to ask if there's a system on the same scale as Runic Invocation for the other two, no, it's not on that complexity level is not there. And that's really intentional. Rune Master will, at launch, and probably for a little while, stand as the most complex class. And that is very much by design. Yeah, the Falconers had some pretty unique stuff made for it. Warlocks had some tricky under the hood stuff that had to be made for it to make it work, but it's definitely not visible. It's one of those things that like you're like you'd be surprised how hard this was, but it looks just normal, and you're like, yeah, it does look just normal. But there's little stuff all the time that we're adding in that, like, if you'd asked me if you could have it a year ago, I probably would have said no, we don't have the tech for it. And it's things like there's stuff that's in like experimental affixes, just stuff that's in like passives and sort of innocuous seeming skill nodes that you're like, okay, yeah, great, that's a normal thing, but like there's a lot of changes that have to be made to make it work. Nice. All right, any chance of us getting an Uber Monolith mode where we choose a node? Any chance of us getting a Uber Monolith mode where when you choose a node, that node is permanent but can only be one node of each type? For example, if you take an elemental damage node and it increases damage by 90%, but then you take another node that does 190 elemental percent damage, they don't stack, but give the higher of the stats remain throughout the entire monolith. That's a pretty big change to the system. We don't have any plans for that.
I see you have returned with the lance. Now it shall bear my final.
We'll trade Kill 1.0. That's the plan. Will you have a rebirth mechanic? Remaking old characters level 1 for cycles. We don't have anything like that planned at the moment. It's a cool idea though. You couldn't really carry anything over, so like if you want to do that, you just delete the character and remake it. Can you explain the new bug report feature to us? How does it work on your end? So there's a bug report feature right here that you can enter a description of a bug, and it submits a ticket to us. It creates a bug marked with like your username and like or it depends on if there's like attached player data that has like your username on it and everything. It just basically puts this into like a big list of bugs that we have, and then someone goes through and looks for things that seem relevant and sorts them and tries to combine them together and tries to pull maybe there's something that's like a lot of users are talking about. I think it tries to automatically create duplicate or like combine duplicates, so like if one person's just reporting the same thing over and over again, we just see it once. There's a few other little things like that it does. Might as well just warp here. Yeah. I haven't actually seen how that form looks, so I can't really give you details. But, yeah. Wait, is LE on Unity Engine? It is. Alright, considering this is the last major content patch before 1.0, are there any... Where am I going? Are there... I'm just like looking at my peripheral vision on the screen. Get lost sometimes. Are there any balance changes going to happen in between? Considering how powerful Rune Master looks in comparison to Sorcerer or Spellblade, I'm afraid that this subclass might dominate the class, and I'm worried that similar fate can happen with Falconer and Warlock. We don't have a pre-1.0 balance patch planned. We will be working. We will be locking things a lot earlier than usual for 1.0. And we will be working pretty closely with people that are really good at making really powerful builds to try and balance things a little bit better. And yeah, like it would have been nice to have a patch there in between, but you know, this is just the way the timing worked out. It's also really funny. I just want to make note that, like, I've gotten, so I do a lot of the Reddit moderation, and I've gotten I've had to, like, break up a couple arguments now about how either good or bad remaster is. Where, like, really aggressively touting how terrible it is, just like slamming it into the ground and really aggressively saying it's the most powerful thing ever, so everything else is invalid. And it's like, it's really interesting how strong the, like, opposing viewpoints are. I'm not saying one is wrong or right, it's just I find it really funny that, like, we've never had such a strong like completely opposite reaction to something like this before. I don't think. Were you the one at Gamescom? I was one of the people at Gamescom. I wasn't the one up on stage. But if you came by the our booth if you came by our booth before 3 p.m. any day, I was there. But yeah, I was there. That was me. Gamescom was so much fun. I had a blast. I like, and there's every time I go traveling, which isn't very often at all, like every like 6 years. So I'm not very good at it, but there's always things that you're like, oh, I wish I could have done this. Oh, I wish I could have done that. And there was a few things that I wish I could have done while I was there. You know, like I didn't really get to see. I was talking with my wife actually about this last night. And I'm like, I don't feel like I've really visited Germany. I feel like I visited Gamescom, and like I did get a ton of like there was some locals that were there, and some like people that were from Germany from other regions that were there that were like in our group type thing, and they showed us a ton of awesome stuff, which was really great to have local guide for a lot of stuff. But like I still don't feel like I went and saw Germany. Like there's a lot of places and things that I would have liked to have seen. So still on the list to go back to someday, like 30 years from now. When will we get more story content? It cuts off the last area, but there's obviously not done yet. That's true, it is not done yet. There will be more story content added post 1.0. It'll start pretty quickly post 1.0, and there's still I think it's 3 chapters left to go. Someone else earlier said 3. That might be what's stuck in my head.
They're holed up in the pier.
But I'm pretty sure 3 is right. And so you can see what chapter you're on at the top there. And it is... and the story content won't be completely done after that. That's just where like the campaign will stop. So like that'll be the end of like what we had mapped out as the main primary story arc. And then there's still room for like the time travel game. There's room for other stories to happen really easily, where you can just be like, well, you know, you pull someone out of the storyline at this point and have them go do an adventure and then come back at the same point, and it's like they never left. You know, that sort of thing is really easy to do. I guess what I'm saying is there's plenty of room for future cycles to add on story content through endgame systems, where it doesn't extend the campaign, but it still expands on the story and the world as a whole. So that's a lot of people have a big problem with a long campaign, so we don't want to In future, we don't want to be just adding chapters onto the campaign, because it can get really bloated. Or maybe alternate chapters. I know that's something people have talked about a lot, where like storyline can branch and you can pick a different chapter to go do. There's tricky problems with that, because like say you're partway through one side of that, and then you like go to play multiplayer with someone and they're on the other side of it. How does that work? Yada yada yada. So it can get messy, but we really want to explore the options we have for expanding the storyline as a whole without necessarily bloating the campaign. Mac, is there a way to lock chat language or change it in game? No, there's not a way to change it. There used to be a way right here. It's gone. Yeah, that would be nice to have. It definitely so the chat system runs a little bit differently than the rest of the online features. It actually has its entirely separate system, and there's a couple issues with it being changed after you already got the game going, I think, but it should be possible. In my gaming experience, the Beastmaster is underpowered compared to the Necro. Specifically considering the Beastmaster has to get to the front line, and hit enemies because of the many aspects of synergies. In other words, the Beastmaster has to take more risks and yet deals less damage. Cool, thanks for the feedback. I hope Unity stuff shakes out for you guys well. I would hate for you to have to increase the box price of your game or anything. I don't know why I read the question. It wasn't highlighted, and we'll see what happens. There's lots of time. Exiled mages are awesome. What about exiled rogues, exiled void knights? I mean, the way I guess lore of it works out, it doesn't really make as much sense for it to be any other class than a mage. Oh wow, look at this. I never noticed. That's totally wrong. That's funny. That's really cool, actually. I wonder why that happens. Oh, I wonder why that happens. Okay, not important right now. We can fix it later. I can, so it's like exiled rogues, exiled void knights, all that sort of stuff. I think that it would make more sense for us to have a slightly varied story reason for having that type of character show up in a similar style mechanic. At least initially, it's going to stick with mages. But I do think it's very cool to have that type of thing where you're fighting, and this is the arena champions, right? This is just another very twist in the arena champions that are in game already, which is rogue, primalist, and sentinel. Specifically marksman, forge guard. I don't know, those guys. But yeah, it's kind of another twist on that. How many devs are working on the game? So it's kind of like the like title developer's a little gray. I think the studio's about 80 people now. That includes everyone, so like when you say devs, do you include somebody who does 2D art? I do, definitely, but I just, it's hard to know sometimes with the questions. That's why I make that distinction of the whole studio instead of just devs. But yes. Hey, have you any plans to make 1 and 2 rune skills worth building towards? I mean, there's I've definitely seen a few builds that utilize 1 and 2 skills. There was a plan we had to make them a larger part of the arsenal and the build toolkit. That didn't quite have time to get in before last patch, so we left it the way it is. But that is the sort of thing that we did notice was happening a lot, and feedback we got initially. We have a way that we want to make 1 and 2 runes feel more like part of the class, but it hasn't made it in yet. Hey, cool streams, thank you. I know you guys are busy for 1.0, but pretty please improve server in EU. US is awful. All of the servers have the same, like, server strength or whatever. And we are in the process right now of switching over servers. So some of them, like, you could be on the old ones right now. But we are in the middle of switching all of our servers over. Alright, I should keep talking, shouldn't I? I'm just playing the game. So you tell I don't actually do this normally. I just like shut up sometimes for a while. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be talking, aren't I? Have you considered a skip dialogue option button? It's annoying to click like an idiot forever in each discussion. We have considered it, yes. Have you considered an elemental being summoner? An elemental being summoner for the 4th mage class? We have. Please don't get your hopes up. Will all new future base classes maintain 50% passive tree availability regardless of specialization as it is now? Would help build diversity immensely. Yeah. I don't see why not. You're saying if we made an entirely new base class and everything, so like completely new everything, and there was like it was a fool. Just picking something that we're definitely not going to do. So like there's a fool base class, and it has access to dunce and I don't know. I'm making up ancient terms for things. It doesn't matter. There's yes, it would still be structured the same way where there's like a lock line, and the first half is shared, and you can like multi-class into that. I can take points, these points, that sort of thing. Yeah, that core mechanic for our passives is something that we do plan to keep for all masteries. And I don't want to say it's 100% set in stone, because we have recently sort of looked at some conventions that we had set up for classes in that sense that we've decided to break. And not big things, but little things, like how there's an extra skill here in the base mage class. Because originally we were like, okay, well, all the classes are gonna have the same number of skills available at each sort of like category and like tier and rank and spot along development. But recently we decided that, hey, you know what? What's the point of doing that? It doesn't really bring much to the game. It's just sort of there because. Why? Because it's expected? Because it feels natural? It feels normal? So we decided to allow there to be discrepancies in the number of skills here. And then on top of that, there are discrepancies in when they're unlocked as well. So that's another thing that we had initially planned out to be pretty static, where you can see most of them following this 5, 15, 30, 40 track. Rune Master now is 5, 15, 30, 35. And that's sort of like variance, while not like groundbreaking or anything, is something that we have been loosening up on a little bit. I love Taskmaster, me too. No spoilers, I'm still watching Taskmaster NZ. Hi, Mike. Just joined, so I don't know if somebody asked this question related to the latest news with Unity. How does it affect LE? As someone has asked that, but it's been a little while, and I'll answer it again. Sure. I've got basically zero info for you, so yeah.
Can I help you?
I hope it has no effect on us. As far as people who play our game are concerned, you should feel like nothing changes at all. Hopefully you can't even tell. Hopefully 6 months from now you go, hey, wasn't there a thing? Did that do anything? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Hopefully that's what happens. As far as all of you are concerned, it shouldn't matter at all. And we're doing our best to make sure that it feels that way. But like, yeah, just let's wait a minute. Yeah, let's not do anything rash. Let's take some deep breaths and see what happens. Warlock when this year? Yeah, probably something ancient year. Yeah. Am I the only one who wished the raptor looked less birdish and more lizardish? I'm not a big fan of the feathers. Probably not the only one. Eventually, there will be skill skins to change the way things look. Maybe the raptor gets a conversion node anyways, that sort of thing down the road. I don't know. Nothing planned, but who knows? How far ahead of 1.0 release should we start seeing information spoilers on the last few classes like Falconer? I would say there probably won't be a ton of information until pretty close to release. I think it'll be pretty close to the chest until we're in that like patch preview week for like really specific details on like what's happening with the class, like skill names and skill descriptions and that sort of stuff. Like I don't think it'll be that far out in advance. I think we got more information earlier on Rune Master than what will happen on Falconer and Warlock. I could be wrong about that, but I just don't want anyone to get their hopes up on early info. I'd rather say like way later and people be like, oh, surprisingly early, than me say early and have people upset about waiting. Hopefully. We've got a sub! Cooked diamond! I guess that's what diamonds are. They've just been cooked on like a slow cooker for like a really long time. Thank you very much for the sub. Glad to have you with us. Hope you're having fun. Any teasers for Warlock? More fire theme? I don't have any info for Warlock right now. As far as like acolytes are concerned, in general, fire's not outside of the realm of their like sphere of things they can do. But that's just like, you look at the skills that acolyte has now, and there's fire stuff in there. Is there anything you can share about leagues, or is there nothing set in stone yet? I mean, the basics for leagues we can talk about. So like, it's going to be like pretty similar to the sorts of things you see in like Path of Exile, and like I guess I don't want to say D4 because I haven't really paid attention to some of the specifics there, and I might shoot myself in the foot a little bit. Closer to that happened again. It's just all water. That's hilarious. Closer to like initially it'll feel like Diablo 2's resets, or leagues where it's just a new ladder basically, and then it'll start to drift further and further towards like what D3 did or what PoE does, where there's special mechanics that show up maybe, or there's new content that shows up, and that sort of stuff. new mechanics, all that sort of stuff. We really don't want to maintain 2 versions of the game as much as possible, so we want to keep most of that content universal, cycle and non-cycle, cycle and legacy is what we're calling it, but like there might be some little things, like maybe there's an item that we're not sure is going to work, and we're like, all right, this one's available for the cycle, but it may or may not ever go to legacy. We're not sure yet. Something like that. And hopefully, of course, but just want to say it anyways, the all these things are very subject to how it feels. Did it work? Did we try it? Did it go well? Did it fail? Did people tell us it was awesome? Did people tell us it sucked? We'll definitely be evaluating how well the things we're doing are going, and then correcting as needed. Come on. Okay, more questions. Oh yeah, we'll take that. We need that for the slot. Resist fire damage. I don't care. Brute force. Resist this. Tyrion the Third. Oh, Tyrion the Third. Sorry, my bad. Yo, long-term big fan here. Watch some videos. Hopefully still a big fan if I butchered your name. From game show presentation. Looked really cool. There's just some bit unclear to me. Could you please explain sextant blocking? Alright, don't feel bad about butchering your name now. So like sometimes when you're organizing your inventory, you need to make sure that there's room for a sextant right in the middle. So sometimes you just got to block out space for it. You just got to make sure that there's room blocked out in your inventory. It's a really important part of inventory management. So you have that like sextant slot ready in your inventory to go, just blocked out like that, or else you just run into problems later. Alright. I'm sorry. I think I'm funny. Are you satisfied with the Ballista now? It has weak damage, very low fire rate, no AoE, except for some meme builds. This skill is disappointing. Thanks for the feedback. I don't know what to say. It will probably receive attention alongside other rogue changes coming with Falconer. Next question. Can we use the report bug feature and select feedback to submit suggestions? Oh yeah, feedback there. Yeah, I don't see why not. I will say that the majority of the time that a suggestion gets included into the main game, it comes from a forum thread more than anything. It's the primary place that those get added to, because they quite often see more discussion, more community discussion, and not only does that help refine the idea, but you also end up with an easily referenceable location for other designers that want to look at that, where you can just be like, oh, I saw an idea on the forums, I thought it was really good, here's the link, quick, there you go, done, you're talking about it, awesome. And also, when other people see it on the forums, if it's a really good idea, you start seeing other people suggest it in other places, and then it just becomes like part of the community's like shared language of a good idea that people want to see added, and so you're totally welcome to put it in that private format, and we do see those frequently in other private formats, like sometimes I get people like messaging the mods on Reddit, even like trying to suggest things for the game. Please don't do that. That one's not good, because we don't. While I do read them, as soon as I see what it is, I usually roll my eyes and be like, yeah, this is not the right place for this. Oh yeah. And I do read them. Because I'm a sucker. Yeah, forum's the best place for it, but if you want to do it privately, that feedback forum thread's a good place to do it too. I'm pretty sure that the feedback there probably goes to the same place as the I think there's a feedback form on our support site. I bet those are the same thing. Do something about the new transitions to every game. Do something about the new transition of the game every time we want to create a new character, and allow the pet to collect gold. Here's a great example of a suggestion that would probably be better served as a forum post. But thanks to the feedback. Have you considered allowing dual wield wand scepters? We have very extensively considered this. It is extremely unlikely to happen. I don't want to say impossible, but at least 1.0 it will not be in the game. I can tell you that much. One-hand crossbow plus catalyst when I'm damn well ready. No, I think there's I think that there's room for how do I say this? There's some weapons that we've intentionally left out of the game that seem like they should be obvious inclusions, and they could really use inclusion alongside a thematically appropriate class, base, or mastery. And until the right class comes along, some of those item types might not be included. Others might get earlier inclusions, so who knows? Currently, because I know people have data mined this already, there is so like every base item type, like wand, chest, helm, boots, a quiver, a staff, all of these item types, these base item types, have like the two-handed staff right here. But you can alt tab, by the way, to keep a tooltip on screen and be able to move your cursor away if you're ever wondering how to do that. Just alt tab and then the tooltip stays. Anyways, and what am I saying? Oh yeah. There's two-handed crossbows and fist weapons already have IDs blocked out for them that are not used in game yet. Just right, so I don't know if I already commented about anything from EHG regarding Unity. Yes, I've just no comment. there's some comment, but I've already answered it twice now, or 3 times now. So just I basically said nothing. Hello, Mike. Can you already say at which point during the game we will unlock the factions? I don't know specifically. I should know this. We have decided at what point specifically they will be unlocked. The first time a character goes to the campaign, it will be a little bit later than follow-up characters. So follow-up characters will gain access to turn factions on earlier than the first character of that cycle or ladder. Basically, a shared stash. Blah, blah. And so yeah, there'll be some stuff there. Where will it be? It'll be in the campaign. There's a thematically appropriate point at which you'll encounter a character that will be related to the theming of the bazaar, that will help you get that ball rolling, get that quest rolling, because it'll be a little side quest. It may actually be inserted into the main quest line. And I'm not sure which era it'll be in either. There'll be Majelka in one of the Imperial Divine era, I'm pretty sure. But I want in! Come on, you let me in? Will you let me in? Does one of you always tell the truth and one of you always lies? I can get one question, huh? Any remember that riddle? You approach two guardians on the path, one of which will always lie, the other always tell the truth. You have one question to ask either. What is it? For those of us who don't like temporary pets, could we have a way forge weapons to last until they are killed? Perhaps an item idle, please? While not impossible, we don't have any plans for this at the moment. If we did do something like this, part of the problem is that basically all of the things that interact with forged weapons assume that they are temporary minions. All the things that generate them, all the things that change how they function, they all assume it's temporary. So if we were going to make an item or something that made them be able to be permanent, it would probably force a specific mode for them, force some specific like stat reduction, or something like that. I doubt we would ever release an item that just said forged minions don't die after have infinite duration, and just nothing else. Maybe, but I'd be surprised. We just go. Yep.
This has gone on long enough. Yes. Ah, I see you helped clear out the rabble down.
Rabble. Jester class confirmed. That would be great. Oh my god, I would love that. Yes, please. Oh, yes, please. What would it be like? Bard, Jester. I don't know. Like, what's the base class there? Entertainer? Tinkerer? I don't know. Go look up every weird class that's ever been in a D&D or Pathfinder game. I bet there's 3 that work together there. 4. Get up a base class. What we're doing? I looked, and it seemed like COC cast on crit builds are attached to specific items. Yes, they are. Any chance a more broad approach to cast on crit in the future? In the sense of like, so I'm gonna assume from the terminology that you're coming from PoE. If not, my bad. But in PoE they've got a skill support gem system that is extremely generic, broad, diverse. Generic, it seems contradictory to diverse or like negative, but I don't mean it in that way. More in the sense of that it is that you can kind of combine however you want to combine things, and things are generic's a weird word because I mean it in a good way, but it sounds bad. Oh, I'm getting caught up on this. Because the system is so broad, it does allow for a lot of creative freedom when you're making things in the system as a player. It does produce some pretty strong restrictions on development and design that are a little frustrating, I'm sure, to the people doing those designs. And I doubt we will have a way to do it as generically as PoE does it. I could see there being some specific way, like a more generic way, but not quite as generic, not like all the way generic. So like something like maybe it's a passive that says whenever you critically hit, you have a chance to use whatever skill is the first skill in your bar, or something like that. Or use the first bow skill on your bar, from left to right or something. I don't know. Or use a random bow skill from your bar. Like something like that, where it's a little bit more universal. Universal might be a better word than generic. There we go, universal. But I doubt we'll ever have a system where it's like pick a skill, it's cast on crit now. I doubt we'll ever have that. Because there's certain skills that could be problematic to have as cast on crit. Yeah. We'll see though. I really don't want to say no to this, because you never really know what could change, but it's not something we're planning right now, I guess is the best way to put it. Hopefully that was an okay answer for you. Thanks for detailed answer regarding passive trees and skills. Nice response. You're welcome. Is there any chance of more options to idols planned at 1.0? Something like Singularity. 1.0, we don't have anything specific planned for idols, like major overhauls or anything like that. There will be more idols coming. There will at least be more magic idols, like normal idols, like this teal type idols. There will definitely be at least more of those coming in 1.0. More unique idols coming in 1.0. I don't know. Maybe. I think it'd be pretty cool. It's so good. I love that one so much. So good. That's why Frost will stay in Frost on our bar. Speaking of Singularity, though, there are more things planned for making non-crit hit builds more viable, more fun, and more interesting. I think it's really hard to make non-crit builds be viable for hit without just ruining crit as an option. And if we have to pick between the two of being more prevalent, crit is likely going to stay more prevalent than non-crit hit style builds. Oh, that's...
I am not a man of many pockets.
Ah, he said it. Oh my god, it's not a sextant, it's an astrolabe, but it's kind of similar. It went into my sextant block. Cast speed. Oh, we'll take that. We'll take that all the way to the bank. Void, poison res. How are we doing on those? Oh! Oh! I kind of want to change this. We only have 4 forging potential left, though. Could be anything. Could be a boat. How much we want one of those? How to ruin an item in 10 seconds. It's okay, it's still got forging potential, we're just too low level. We'll get there. Is getting experimental affix from gear when glyph removal intended? No. They're non-functional though, so it doesn't really matter, but no. What major things will be added for 1.0? Falconer and Warlock and item factions are 3 gigantic systems and things that are super duper awesome. Really love the game. Have a free sub, so good way to support. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
I'm glad you are I see that would not
Would you put everything to charity?
Liath's been known
In case
to be
anyone's wondering
tense.
what happens with all the money from the
Though
stream.
I see her
Gods
as a
be
friend,
with you.
she will consider me as a threat.
Yep.
Gods be with you.
I can try. Yes, I swear. I want to help. I just don't read. Thank you very much, Odd King 326. Glad to have you with us. Hope you're having fun.
Farewell.
I really enjoy these streams. It's always a really nice way to end the week.
Farewell.
I've made my pie. Are you ready to head out? If you need more time, just say so.
I'm gonna dodge all future Unity questions, so just sidestepping that one. You can rewatch the start of the stream if you want to hear what I have to say on it, which is basically nothing. Hi all, just found this game a few weeks ago and can't stop playing, so damn fun. Awesome. That's awesome. D4 is best game! Cool, I'm glad you're having fun. I love... Diablo 2 is... It's so hard to pick a favorite game. Diablo 2 is still probably my favorite game, I think, though. Like it changes day of the week, it changes, but like... Today it's D2. Might play next season. Terror zones are awesome. Spike has resubbed for 9 months in a row. Hey Mike, great job to the team for Rune Master. Thank you very much. Glad you're enjoying it. It was definitely hard to keep Rune Master stuff a secret because we were under pretty strict like don't say anything with regards to Gamescom, and which was really tough. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Will cycles have a battle pass type approach to progression? We're not planning any style of battle pass type content whatsoever. If we did do a battle pass type approach to progression, I think it would look a lot more. It wouldn't be like a paid and a free type thing. It would just be like a way of structuring the content type thing. Because yeah. But no, we have no plans for something like that. I think the closest thing to that I could see is like the UI for the item factions. The way you like level up your item factions looks like kind of similar-ish to how that type of system sometimes shows, but like it's not a battle pass, so no. Which of the devs is the biggest practical joker? That's really hard because we don't work in the same office, and practical jokes often require physical proximity. So we don't see each other often enough to get like super comfortable with physical pranks on each other. But like, so like, the people that are closest are like Judd and Kyle, who are cousins. So it's like, probably one of them if you're gonna like just tally up things like that because they've known each other the longest. More questions. Is Last Epoch going to be released this year? Yup. Oh no! That's what happens when I look away. When we die, would it be possible to indicate if we've been struck by a critical hit or not? I don't know if that's possible. But if it is, that's a really great idea. I don't know. Awesome job on campaign rework. It felt amazing. Completely different from a year ago. Thank you very much. It is completely different from a year ago. You're not completely different, but like, at least the start of it is. Michael, you'll add 8 to 10 man raids to LE. That would be awesome. I'd be very surprised. I hate saying never on these streams, but I'd be shocked. There would have to be some pretty massive improvements to our networking to make that be possible. One of those things. What about flails or... Oh, I'm going to pronounce that wrong. Which I think is the proper spelling of nunchucks? That's what I'm going to guess. We don't have any specific plans to add them, but I'd love to see them. It'd be sweet. I think especially the second one there would probably be more would be one of those examples of an item type that's tied to a specific base type. There's a fly in here. Yeah. Fools! One question I've been thinking about. Sounds big at first, but hear me out. I don't know if they meant that for that to rhyme, but nice. How hard is it to make a game? Really hard. We as a community ask for a lot of things. Yeah, but there's lots of great games out there. We want this and that, but how much work is it to make a game? Behind the scenes question, kind of. It's an immense amount of work. Yeah. Making this game has been by far. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Has been one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Kids are also extremely difficult. You lose about the same amount of sleep. Games are a really interesting industry to be in because so many people get into it for a love of the games, and some people stay in it for just a love of the games, and so you have this sort of like underlying drive that you might not have with other industries. And lots of people are passionate about their industries, but I think games are a really easy industry to be passionate about. And so there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people who, it's the astronaut effect. It's the firefighter effect. It's the what I want to be when I grow up as a kid type of career. And it makes it very competitive, which is a great thing for people who play games because it means there's lots of options. And it also means that in order to be successful at it, it's a lot of work. And that's not to say that other industries are not huge amounts of work too. I think it can be deceptive how much work video games are to make. I had no idea before starting to work on games how much effort, time and effort went into it. Like, and there's definitely been times I've like gone back to like. And you do something stupid as a kid, and it sticks with you. You just think about it forever. And there's like definitely comments I've said on forums about other games, and I'm like, as a kid, thought I knew what I was talking about. Now I'm like, oh my god, I was such an idiot. And, not like malicious, hateful stuff, but like, why don't they have this? It should be easy to put this in. No, idiot, young Mike, it's not. But we wouldn't do it if we didn't love it, so. Wow, this guy he's got some tank to him. Comboing 2 skills is fun instead of giving us only a few skill combo possibilities. What about allowing us to combo some skills with what we want? It would drastically increase the number of possible builds as well as the personification of builds. I don't really understand this question. I think it's like just asking for more freedom in like what things can be triggered in which skill trees. I think that's what's being asked for here. I'm not really sure. We definitely do. One of the things we've been adding into the game for the past couple years is just more skill synergies. And so like that'll continue. And some older skills that maybe don't have skill synergies, like for example, Summon Sabretooth, I think has none. We'll get them. Sorry, bad answer. I don't know. If you want to re-ask that question with more detail, I'll be happy to answer it. The game continues to need optimization. Yes, it does. How you progress now, Unity is same way we always have. When is Rune Master getting buffed? I have no information regarding upcoming balance changes. It's so funny. Like, this is what I was talking about earlier about like Rune Master's terrible, it needs a buff. Rune Master's OP, it needs a nerf. Like earlier this stream, I've had both of those questions already. Okay, one question I've been thinking about sounds. Oh yeah, I already answered that. When is Rune Master? Oh yeah, already. Did I just like scroll up somehow? Must have. When towns come back, yeah, again for the third time. When towns come back, is there a specific town that people will congregate in? Love the designs of them. Just wanted to know if there was going to be a reason to revisit specific ones. I would say it is likely you'll see most people at End of Time. Partially just because it's like the one that people gain access to the earliest. Oh, that's not working. Interesting. Okay. I think you'll see a lot of people here, partially because of like the way it's laid out. Most of the stuff you're looking for is pretty central. You know, it's yeah. I think that'll be the primary hangout place. The Orgrimmar, so to speak, or the Dalran, depending on which. Guess which years of WoW I played. I'm not sure if I'm remembering correctly, but let me just finish this. I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but you mentioned like Magic the Gathering. Oh yeah, I do. I love Magic the Gathering. Oh my goodness, that's how I die. Any other CCGs you played, enjoyed? Warlord, Legend of the Five Rings, got? I not really. I don't really have enough time to get multiple CCGs or TCGs going. I did recently learn Lorcana while I was at Gamescom, which was a lot of fun. Don't think I'll be putting it into my repertoire. I really, really like the ability to have instant speed interaction. So like, I like for there to be ways to do things on other people's turns. That's sort of a key component to a card game, I think, in my world. Just for the type of way I like to play. I'm not saying that needs to be for every game to be fun for everyone, but just like for me, the way I like to play them, I play Magic with a lot of instants in my deck. So yeah, like I really enjoyed it. I think they've done a great I think that they're making Lorcana really well. And I think it's going to do really well, but I just don't think I'll be one of the players. The one that I've been looking at recently is oh crap! Remember the name? Fang and Blood, War and Blood, Blood and Steel. Someone who plays it's like yelling at me right now. They've been doing a lot of like pro level tournaments support recently. Watsy, pay attention. But no, I don't know. Sorry, I haven't played any of those other ones for more than 10 seconds. Do you know if we'll ever get pre-multiplayer patch graphics back? No. They were they were much worse. Some of them were stunning, especially lighting in outdoor areas. The graphics are I'm not sure what you're referring to, but maybe a settings changed since then, but they're way better now. For sure. And they'll keep getting better. We've got a whole new lighting system coming in. You know. Did you tell family friends Last Epoch will release 1.0 this year? I did. I'll put you in touch with my magic group, and they can tell you how they're sick and tired of me saying 1.0 is coming this year. Any plans on increasing the max skill or character level? Character level being capped at 100 is pretty set in stone, I would say. The base skill level of 20, I would say, is very solid, but not completely set in stone. I would be shocked if there was a major change to that in the next several years. Having said that, there's there are things we have planned with regards to this that will be awesome, and allow for like new stuff in skill trees. That's kind of all I can say about that. But like, it's not like a completely finished ecosystem of stuff. That fireball just gets me every time. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I can just warp to where I want to go. But no. Burn. Burn. Oh, alright. I feel like runic invocation feels a bit obstructive. Okay, for channel type generators like Lightning Blast or Disintegrate, in that it interrupts the channeling. Could a channeled related node in it, have a follow-up node that would make runic invocation instant cast while channeling like Flame Ward? I mean, maybe. I mean, we don't. There's no specific plans for that, but it's possible. If you have something like while channeling, it becomes instant cast. I mean, that sounds cool. I know, especially with things like Disintegrate that have the like. Just turn the voice down. Oh, get a phone call. Especially on the nodes that say, sorry, just a sec. So a friend can help me install some trim around a door, because I don't know what I'm doing. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, channeling, because Disintegrate has those nodes that like ramp up their power over time while channeling. It would be really nice to not have to stop, I think, to cast runic invocation still. Oh my goodness. Also just got my wife's hand-me-down phone and all the settings are completely wrong. Alright, will you keep a dark fantasy theme for the game? The rework of Act 1 looks very cartoon and colorful. The game is... Oh, still amazing. I thought it was one word. Still amazing despite of that. Yeah, I think that the... I think that there's room for... you know, variance in that dark fantasy theme. And I think that you'll... like. The overarching theme is not changing from what it is. But I think especially in, like, for example, the Ancient Era stuff's a lot brighter, stuff's a lot more vibrant. And when we do go to the Ancient Era, eventually, you know, because that's, like we were talking about earlier, with this, there's just nothing here yet, like, we gotta go here and do stuff with it. You'll see more vibrant, colors than we have. I always go down this path and I don't know why. Than we have seen in the past. You know, like Ruined Era is going to be a lot more dark than anything else. That sort of stuff. So, and we use a lot of those. We try to use those color schemes to help you. And maybe color's the wrong term for it. I'm not. Obviously, it's not my field. But we do try to use that, like, we want it to be possible for you to tell fairly closely what era you're in from looking at a screenshot based on the color schemes and the, I guess, like the brightness of the colors or the intensity of the colors that are there. And not just that, like all sorts of environmental effects stuff, but that's one real easy way to sort of like shift the feel of the zone to be a little bit different. Where like you'll notice things in the Ruined era are very dark and gloomy, and Imperial era is definitely darker and gloomier than the Divine era, which is darker and gloomier than the Ancient era, and so it's sort of this like spectrum, I guess, of like sparkliness. It's probably the worst term I could have used ever. So yeah, I think that the overarching theme is for like visual style would be high fantasy to dark fantasy in those two sort of realms, high to dark fantasy. And that's not going anywhere. With a focus on more realism for the graphics. Like, we're definitely not planning, like, definitely not planning on pulling a Wind Waker here, which is one of my favorite Zelda games, but, you know, I know a lot of people didn't like the visual change. And we've got a bunch of these here, don't we? What are we doing? Finish that? This? Sure. Terrible plan. That was awful. Mike, why did you do that? Because I'm rushing, and we're just picking stuff. So I'm just like taking notes. We already have stuff in. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, sure, why not? Where are we going? We're going places and doing stuff. More questions. Am I like really far behind? I feel like I'm far behind. I may have to do like a speed round, a lightning round here in a minute. Let's go. Okay. Are we going to get some kind of hideout similar to PoE? Unlikely anytime soon. It's possible. We need them to do something. We know Rune Master is kind of imbalanced compared to old masteries. In which direction? I don't know. Currently, do you have any plans for the old masteries to have more love and rework for 1.0? Yes, but probably not to the extent you're hoping for. Regarding Rune Master, I'd love to see more options to proc Runic Invocation outside of manually casting it. For example, it would be awesome to be able to channel Disintegrate. I feel like I've already answered that. Flesh and Blood, yeah, that's the one I was looking about. Is there going to be... I'm not that far behind then. Is there going to be a Lagon size B as a boss someday? Nice reference. I do not know. That'd be sweet. Also a nightmare, because Lagon being that big is what's caused so many problems. Oh my god, I haven't caught up, I just didn't scroll, it's an idiot. Is there any Flicker Strike fans on the dev team? Hope you bring something similar to the game. I mean, have you looked into Flame Rush yet much? Check out all the nodes in Flame Rush and get back to me. Also, yes. Nope, don't want that. I know. Submit to the forums. But man, the new towns are amazing. It would be cool to have some of them as hubs in the future. I mean, they're like they'll all be. Cause all of the towns that are. I don't want to die here. Oh my goodness, just die already. All of the towns that have... Come on. This icon. So you see how it has these, like, spikes that stick out from the sides of them? Those are all, like, towns, and will likely be hubs for some things. But the reason I suggest that End of Time will be the hub there for the main hub for the game is it's funny that it doesn't have the right icon. Oh, fine. I'll switch that. I'm gonna write that one down because I'm changing the quest or the map panel launch right now. EOT needs main town map icon. I just think practically that's what'll happen. Like Undercity was a main city for the Horde, but everyone hung out in Orgrimmar. I know that wasn't always the case, but at least when I played, Undercity was dead by comparison. More questions. You mean Flesh and Blood, the TCG? Yeah. Okay, what I missed. Aaron, basically, nothing. We're spoiler free this week for you. I'm sorry, bud. We're still in patch Afterglow. What you missed Q&A, shame on you. Regarding my graphics question, I have a link comparing old and new graphics I can post, but I don't know if I can post links. I mean, I don't think it'll let you. But if you want to start a discussion on it, my advice would be to make a forum post about it. The way Runic Invocation works, it always has to be able to cast something, basically no matter what. And the first little while, it didn't give you ward when you cast it without any runes. And there was a lot of early testing where like people were just like using it and nothing's happening, and they're just like, well, that skill's broken, and they just ignore it. So that's why it gives you a bunch of ward. There are cannons in the Dreadnought, so what about flintlock gun rifles? They're magic cannons, so like they figured out to like from seeing like prophetic visions from gods that like cannons could work, but they have no idea how to make them work, so they just got these magic cannons that work through magic. I have no idea if that's right or not. I don't have an answer, I'm sorry. So you guys have a Necro class in your game. How does your Necro stand up to D4s? FYI, I don't like D4 at the moment. It's very underwhelming. I haven't played the Necro in D4 yet, so I don't have a first-hand account for you. I know that one thing that people really like... Necromancers are a extremely passionate group of players. And I think that our Necromancer really hits home well the minion army that is there to serve you, and they're tools to be used by you in any way, type of gameplay. I'm really happy. I'm really pleased with our Necromancer approach. And also, I just want to, for a second, talk about these like tentacle, like Dr. Octopus type attachment that she's got here. This was something that was like, I think someone said as a joke to make the move. I don't know the whole story behind it, but like we were kind of like, haha, wouldn't it be great if this could happen, type thing. Okay, well that's obviously not going to happen. And there's like this eel that's like floating around in this tank. That's like, I think it's like an electric eel providing power for these tentacle arm things. Super cool. Do we have anything with forging potential that I can like just get a little bit more power before this fight? One's got 6, one's got 11. Can we do anything? Health? Give me health. I'll take it. Lightning res, very useful in this fight. Not gonna let us have it. That's alright. Okay, let's drop some stuff on the ground that we know we don't want. I don't want that. Actually, it's gonna be distracting in the fight. Let's just go. I was talking, and I'm gonna remember what I was saying in a second. What about? Oh, so you guys a necro class. How does it stack up? Yeah, okay. I was talking about necros. We try really hard to give players options to like play necros the way they want to play. And for some, and I guess the big distinction there is usually whether or not there's active summoning or not. So some people really want to set up a Necromancer where you do literally nothing, and it's just like, oh, you got your minions, and they fight. Great. So we try to make that possible, and then we also try to make the primary action you're taking a little bit. It's going to jump me. Yep. We try to make the where are you? Down here? We try to make open up different types of playstyles as well if people want them. So for example, pairing curses with the minions themselves, pairing in active summoning. So that's another type of summoning we have. So temporary minions. There's 2 primary temporary minions in Necromancer right now, being Wraith and Volatile Zombies, which are specifically designed as temporary minions that you can make permanent if you really want, to fill a different niche for you. So, and I think we do a good job with the variety of minions. There's lots of cool uniques that go with them. So I don't know. I think our Necromancer is pretty awesome. I don't think there's much in our Necromancer class that's been done to like break the mold, so to speak. The same way that like Rune Master has, for example. But I think we do. I think we do Necromancer really well. Going for the kill.
Lagon is unpredictable. I was trying.
Our loot filter is so lax right now. It's just like, did you find a wand? Great, pick it up. Usually one of the big things that comes up when people ask about Necromancer is like, how big can I make my army? And like ignoring crazy stuff you can do with like some uniques and some like special combinations of things, but just like if you're gonna go in as a like complete ARPG noob and just take the obvious stuff and not take any special stuff at all, like how big's that army if you're gonna like go army heavy? Like 10, 13, 16, 17, 18. I think it's 18. This is how big like the naive army is. So we'll call it. Oh, I gotta stand near him now. Oh my goodness. My damage sucks so much, I'm tempted to like intentionally die. To like get some crafting in here. can do like cold fire, cold. Okay, how do we fix this? So we fix this? No. Now we're just gonna go. Screw it. We need more mana. Need to answer a question. What about little icons under monster's name instead of the ox or twinned? It would be more easy to understand a quick look. Yeah, I think there's a lot of really good things about. I think that's a great option. If I was gonna say like how would I do this, do it as an option, because there's a lot of really great things that having specific information there, like twinned. You know, that's got information in it that people may understand without needing to look up like what does this icon do. So there's a lot of like first-time player understanding of what an icon, of what like a thing means like that, and usually it's written out. But it's possible. If you'd like to have the suggestion considered, please leave it us on our forums. I need just like a recording of my voice saying that. Next question. How come you didn't tell Aaron about what you said about nerfing golems? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, Aaron. Into the ground. Not just kidding. Well, twofer. And we're done. Okay, we're gonna speedrun some questions here, as I am dead. You can't be totally spoiler free. What is Aaron going to talk about tomorrow? I don't know. I'm sorry, Aaron. Need help there at Last Epoch game? Yeah, probably. I'm we're right at the end of the stream. Kane, you want to come in and kill this for me? Oh, I can't believe I actually got. Oh yes, hey, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yeah. All right, let's go. Kane's here to save me. Hey, is there any roadmap about class releases, trade, etc.? Yes, I can give you it right now. 1.0, next patch this month. Sorry, not this month. This year. What am I talking about? This year. Yeesh. Wow, this thing's dying so slow. Thank you, Kane. I'm totally not just spamming bubble over here. And standing in I-beams. Okay, maybe a little bit. More questions here. This month. No, not this month. Not this month. Not this month. This year. Sorry. I misspoke. I froze there for segments of this month. Still, this year is awesome. Too, yeah. Sorry about that. I know I have to be more careful sometimes. Bubble, bubble, bubble. Bubble boy! So what's coming this month then? There will be a hotfix and some teasers. That's about it. Save me! Woohoo! I should stand away from probably so that I draw a little bit of the aggro. Oh, that's what's eating my mana. The auto trigger on Flame Ward and all the minions going through the my frost wall. That's funny. I did not think that through well. Yay, I did it first try, all on my own, no help. Do you plan to nerf this Brigand Totem build? Not specifically, no. Yeah. Very appropriate, but nah. Very little useful stuff here for me. That's okay though. Thank you very much for the help, Kane. I appreciate it. That'll about do it for the stream today. Let's see if there's any lingering questions. I did submit a bug report, but the dodge conversion on Foot of the Mountain to endurance threshold is not currently working. Is it not currently working, or is it not currently displaying in the in here? Stats like that, sometimes conversion stats don't always display properly, but they do work. On that terrible disappointment, it's time to end. I had a fantastic time. I hope you did too. We'll be here next time, same place next week. That's usually what I put up here. Boom! Thanks for coming by. I promise I will not leave my stream on again like I did last week. Because I'm totally not a huge noob about this. Go say hi to someone. Yeah, if I didn't answer your question, this week. If you had one and I didn't answer it, please feel free to head on over to our Discord. There's an Acid Dev channel where we're very active in, answer questions all the time. You can also head on over to our subreddit. Lots of people answering questions there too. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you next time. And, have some fun. That's all I got for you.